It is 2026, and you know what that means. That's right, it's time for your yearly review of Cyberpunk 2077. And before you ask, yes, we will be doing this until you're 90. In all seriousness, Cyberpunk 2077 has been out for more than 5 years now. The catastrophic launch, the hilarious bugs, and the countless memes all feel like a neon-colored fever dream. We're now at a point in time where CD Projekt Red has officially stopped rolling out constant updates and fixes. They've packed their bags and moved on to The Witcher 4 and the Cyberpunk sequel, Project Orion. And while I'm super pumped to see what they've got cooking over there, chances are some of you have never played Cyberpunk 2077 before. Or maybe you tried it while it was still broken and decided to hold off. Good choice. So today we'll answer that always relevant question. Is Cyberpunk 2077 worth it in 2026? Before we jump in though, a shout out to all my members here on YouTube and on Patreon. Your support makes all the difference in the world, and it's thanks to you guys that I don't actually have to go out and socialize, since I'd rather stay at home and crash my PC from installing too many Cyberpunk mods. Now, let's kick things off with the visuals. Look, it is actually embarrassing for the rest of the industry that I'm saying this in 2026, but Cyberpunk 2077 is still the king of graphics. We've had a flood of Unreal Engine 5 games drop over the last 2 years, right? And half of them run like a slideshow or look like they're about to fall apart at the seams. Meanwhile, Night City, it's still standing there, T-posing over the competition. Now, if you're running an RTX 4090 like I am, well, I got some good news for you. Because back when the overdrive mode first dropped, it brought most PCs to their knees. But now, with the drivers matured and the DLSS where it is today, a 40 series card eats this game for breakfast. And of course, we have to talk about the modders. Let them cook has never been more accurate. While CDPR moved on to The Witcher 4 and Orion, the community turned Night City into a photorealistic dreamscape. You see, I'm running a few texture packs and a custom Nova LUT here, and there are moments, especially, when it's raining and those neon lights are hitting the wet asphalt, where I genuinely can't tell if I'm playing a video game or watching a 4K dashcam video of the future. It's the density, the way light diffuses and bounces between walls. So, visually, it hasn't aged a day, but pretty reflections are one thing. Do the mechanics actually hold up? Let's talk about gameplay. If you played this at launch and bounced off because the police spawned directly behind your back like teleporting wizards, well, good news! That's been fixed for years. The version of Cyberpunk we have in 2026 is built on the bones of the 2.0 update. And I'ma be real here, it arguably has the best first-person combat in the industry.
Let me see it inside!
And the secret sauce here is the power fantasy. You see, most games today are obsessed with balance. They want to make sure you never feel too strong. And they do have a point. But CDPR went the opposite direction, saying, here's a Sendevistan that slows time to a crawl. Oh, and don't forget your mantis blades. Now, go make sushi. Playing this on a 4090 at high refresh rates is an absolute trip. When you're dashing mid-air, deflecting bullets with a katana, and hacking a guy's brain into confetti, all at 120 FPS, it's pure dopamine. Because it feels heavy, it feels visceral, and fast. However, we need to address the elephant in the room. The RPG mechanics. Now don't get me wrong, there are choices in this game. But if you're coming in expecting Baldur's Gate 3 levels of choice and consequence, well, you should lower your expectations. You see, your life path, as in Corpo, Nomad, or Street Kid, well, it's mostly just flavor text and a few unique dialogue options that don't change the outcome of the mission, or any missions, in the base game. Because when you get to the expansion, Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk really starts to shine with choices that actually do matter. Hence why basically everyone and their grandmother has hailed Phantom Liberty as one of the greatest expansions in modern gaming. They revamped so much in this expansion, including the combat, and added a bunch of new things that wasn't in the base game before. It was an evolution for Cyberpunk. On top of that, here is where the state of the game in 2026 shines once again: the gameplay mods. You see, the community didn't just make the game even prettier, they actually added systems on top of systems. You think vanilla driving feels a bit floaty? There's some mod for that. Flying cars? There's some mod for that. You want the survival mode where you have to eat, sleep, and pay rent or get evicted? Yeah, there's some mod for that too, strangely enough. So while the base game is a solid shooter with light RPG elements, the modded gameplay turns it into whatever simulation you want it to be. But all the shooting and hacking in the world doesn't matter if the story and characters fall flat in an RPG. And well, let's just say this, if you're looking for a happily ever after kind of story, you know what? Go play Mario Kart or something. Cause Night City does not do happy endings. But that's also why the story has aged so well. Nowadays, we are used to games trying to be movies, but Cyberpunk commits to that bit harder than almost anyone else because of the first-person perspective. You see, you aren't watching V, you are V. When a character looks you in the eye, and the facial animation in this game is still top tier by the way, it feels uncomfortably personal. Case in point, Johnny Silverhand. Back in 2020, Johnny Silverhand felt like a massive marketing stunt.
Wake the f up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Look, we have Keanu Reeves. But you know, playing it now, years removed from the hype train, you realize that it wasn't just a simple stunt. It was actually a true and honest performance. Yeah, Johnny is a jerk. He's a narcissist. He's a terrorist. And worse, a gaslighter. And yet, watching your relationship with him evolve from "I want to kill you" to "I'd take a bullet for you" is still one of the best character arcs in modern gaming storytelling.
Realize what you're doing to me is what Arasaka's doing at Mikoshi.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm gonna fix it.
And with Phantom Liberty, you get Idris Elba as Solomon Reed. This is where the writing shifts from rocker boy with a grudge against corpos to Cold War spy thriller, and it is CDPR at their absolute peak. Now, what I find so incredibly refreshing about the story in Cyberpunk 2077 is that you cannot save Night City. The city always wins. The story is just about whether you can manage to not sell your soul before the credits roll. So, where does this all leave us? Well, the game is finished. The expansion is done. CD Projekt Red has hundreds of people already working on Cyberpunk 2. But here's the thing, we're all gonna be old and gray before we see Night City 2. However, the IP, the brand, that is not going anywhere. In fact, it's about to get pretty interesting. If you've been living under a rock, you might have missed this news that Wuthering Waves, yes, that gacha game, is doing a Cyberpunk Edgerunners collaboration in their upcoming season of updates. And look, I can feel the irony burning through the screen as you're watching this. There is something deeply hilarious about a franchise that is literally about the dangers of unchecked capitalism and predatory corporations. Now asking you to swipe your credit card to gamble for Lucy or Rebecca. So, am I gonna do it? Abso-f***ing-lutely. Hey, don't look at me like that. It's a strange timeline we're living in. At any rate, the future is bright for Cyberpunk. But that brings us back to the question of the day. With the sequel years away, the anime hype solidified into gacha banners, and the modding scene carrying the torch, is Cyberpunk 2077 worth your time, effort, and money in 2026? Well, let's just say this. If you see the Ultimate Edition on sale, which happens every other week at this point, well, it's a bargain. You are getting over 100+ hours of high fidelity content. In a period where we've seen so many next-gen titles launch in broken, unfinished states, returning to Night City feels like coming home. It is stable, it is polished, and thanks to you wonderful folks in the modding community, it is effectively infinite. Even if you don't have access to mods as a console player, I can highly recommend getting it on console because even without mods, Cyberpunk 2077 is feature complete in 2026. Because until Project Orion drops in, God knows when, Night City is the only city of the future worth visiting.